Welcome to The Becks, a podcast that explores multimedia horror with host Becky and Sydney. Join us as we talk about movies, books, video games, music, and much, much more.
Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sydney Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Snow.
And we're the Becks.
And she's laughing at me because I hesitated.
Why did you hesitate?
Because I was reading something.
You said go ahead, so I started. Bitch.
Here we are. Look, the humps are large.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're talking about Love, Death, and Robots. Not the whole series, just a couple of choice episodes. The very scary ones, the very horrifying ones, the very spoopy ones.
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm.
And you had never... Did you know that this was even a thing?
No. I'd never heard of it. Someone in my house did because they had watched them.
It's so good.
On my Netflix, but I was like,
They're so good. So if you don't know, Love, Death, and Robots is an anthology animated series by Netflix. It has 4 seasons out currently. The 4th one actually just released, so I figured this would be a good episode thing to talk about.
Sure. Yes, it is. No, I didn't like it.
I had several episodes that are just awesome that we could talk about later on. But we each just picked 2 because they are short. They range from 7 minutes to 20 minutes usually per episode. And they're all different. They're all done by different animation studios. They all have different voice actors. They're all written by different people. So it's really cool. And just because they're animated doesn't mean it's for kids. It's definitely not for kids.
No, it's not for kids at all. I'm not a huge animation person. Well, okay, I like some animation, but I'm not a huge animation with like things like this.
She judges it.
She
thinks it's for children.
I did not say that. I love watching Disney movies but I'm just not a huge, hey, let me sit down and watch an animated series. I'm just not. I don't know why. Maybe I haven't found the right one. I'm going to stab you with my pen.
It's internal biases. That's what it is.
Oh my God. I quit. You're on your own.
You can't.
It's now the Beck.
You get the
Thank you for joining me.
The final Beck.
I'm the Beck.
Okay, that's pretty funny. We're not doing that. We're not breaking up.
No.
So, okay. So the one I want to talk about first is called Bad Traveling. It's from season 3. It's episode 2. And it's about this fishing crew. Did you watch this one?
No.
Okay.
I only watched the 3 I told you I watched.
Okay. So, yeah, it's about this fishing crew, and they battle this ferocious monster that ends up taking root in its cargo hold, and they have to keep feeding it to try to quell its anger and ferocity. And it wants them to take it to this particular island. So it opens up with the definition of bad traveling. Have you ever heard this term before?
Bad traveling?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so a fun fact about this episode, I just realized, David Fincher directed it. He's known for his work on Seven and The Social Network. So this kind of had a big powerhouse behind it.
I guess.
It's so good. It's really, really good. Okay, so the episode opens with a textual preface describing sailors of antiquity traversing alien oceans and hunting jabal sharks. So it was common for ships to be lost at sea during these voyages, whereupon they would be said to have a bad traveling. So this monster, it's like a giant crab, jumps on board and starts killing people. And they're hopelessly outmatched because, there's a huge storm happening. People are almost getting flung overboard anyway because the water is so rough. and the storm is so bad. And then it starts killing crew members, and what happens is it goes down into the cargo dock and stays there. And they have no way of getting it to leave because they don't have, this is way back in the day. They don't have machine guns or anything. Like, I don't even know what you would use. It's a giant fucking crab. Like,
okay, yeah.
And one of the most horrifying things that happens in this episode is it takes one of the corpses of the person that it kills, and it has these like tentacle things, and it uses it to puppet the corpse of the dead person and like manipulates its vocal cords.
Ew.
So it can tell them what island it wants to go to. It wants to go to this specific island. I don't remember the name. It doesn't matter. So there's a very limited crew left. The captain's left. And the captain kind of makes a deal with this thing. So at first they act like they're going to draw straws to go and investigate the creature. I don't know if they're trying to figure out who they're going to sacrifice to it or what. But they draw straws, and they throw out the straws. They're like, no, it doesn't matter. We're sending the fucking captain down because we don't like him. He's kind of a douchebag.
Okay.
So he goes down and is like, you don't want to kill me, we can make a deal. So he basically tells the thing, like, I'll keep sacrificing crew to you, and I'll make sure that we go to where you want to go. The creature agrees to this. When he goes back up and talks to the crew, he acts like he's going to put it to a vote. He said, okay, so there's this abandoned island that we know is uninhabited that we can lead this creature to. Or we could take it to where it wants to go, which is an inhabited island, and it's going to kill all these people, and we're going to be shit people if we do that. So we're going to do an anonymous vote, whether we're going to go to this, abandoned island or the inhabited one. And, it'll be anonymous, so your vote won't be held against you, whatever. So he counts the votes, and he reveals that everyone except 2 crew members voted to go to the uninhabited island. And he kills the 2 crew members that voted to go to the inhabited one. He calls them cowards and shoots them, and because
shit.
Yeah. And he dumps the fucking bodies into the crab to eat. So it's revealed eventually that the crab has all these babies. And that's why it wants to go to this island, because it's starving. And it needs a lot of humans to eat. So that's why it wants to go to the island.
Okay.
And keep in mind, it keeps puppeting this rotting corpse as days go by. It's so gross. It's so nasty. It's so fucked up. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's really good animation too. Like, it's so gruesome. So the crew tries to mutiny against the captain multiple times. And each time is not successful. Because the captain's a lot smarter than his crew is. It's pretty obvious early on that he's plotting something from the beginning, Like, he does want to go to this uninhabited island. He doesn't want to sacrifice all these people. He's kind of weighing his crew against that of, this whole island. But, I mean, what would you do if you were in the crew's shoes? Like, would you sacrifice yourself to save the people of this island that you don't even know who it is?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, self-preservation is a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
So when you're laid with them or me, when that's laid out in front of you, what do you do? Or are you that person that's like, okay, sacrifice one to save the mass?
Yeah.
I would like to say that I would be the one to sacrifice one to save the masses. But I might be like, fuck you, I'm going home to my family. I'm out.
Yeah.
You're all dead. Enjoy, crab. Enjoy the meat that we are giving you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard. I think it's interesting because the captain really isn't likable, but you understand his motivations. But the thing is that he he's not sacrificing himself, okay? I do want to make that clear. He's playing chess, and he's 10 steps ahead of everyone else because he wants to win, okay? And him winning is not him dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not him dying.
Yeah. It doesn't matter about everybody else.
He wants to save the island, but he doesn't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the mutinies happen, okay? And the very last mutiny that happens, there's actually one person that doesn't participate. He's able to outwit everyone, and he basically kills them all. I mean, all of these... At the end of the initial fight, there's not that many crew members even left. And once they start to get close to where the islands are, that's when the final mutiny happens because they can see land, and they're like, well, we could take a fucking rowboat and go home. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's one person that doesn't participate. They actually lock him up. And so he has that crew member help him gather up all the bodies and dump them into the cargo hold to feed the crab and all of its babies. And then he ends up pushing the guy in after he helped him.
Oh, okay then.
And it's revealed, too, that every single person voted to go to the island. He lied about it.
Oh, shit.
They all voted to sacrifice the inhabited island. Not a single person on that ship wanted to go to the uninhabited island.
Wow.
Huh. So that raises another question. Because at that point, because it's an anonymous ballot, right?
Yeah.
But you know that you did not vote to go to the uninhabited island, right? Yeah. And then you watch two people get fucking shot for allegedly voting to go to the island.
Yeah.
Okay? So you keep your mouth shut, but then you start to wonder about all the other crew members, right? So it kind of sows this distrust into the other crew members.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they could always say, like, anybody could say, well, that's not what I voted for, or I voted for this. But you never know because it was an anonymous ballot.
Yeah.
People could be lying to your face. So it was another way for the captain to try to...
manipulate the situation?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
So everyone's dead. It's just him left. And he goes down into the cargo hold to talk to the crab a final time. And he said, the thing about sharks, the sharks that we fish for, is they're not really good for meat. They're harvested for oil. And he starts breaking all of the oil barrels that are in the cargo hold.
Oh.
And then he, because it's an old gun that sparks when it's fired, he shoots at the crab and everything starts on fire. And the crab tries to chase him out and kill him. But he's able to jump overboard before that happens and the ship explodes.
Oh.
And he's the only one left.
Huh. Well, that worked out well for him.
Yeah. So it's a really interesting story because none of the characters are particularly likable. They're all kind of pieces of shit. They all are trying to kill each other. They're all... whatever. But the circumstances are so interesting and the psychology of everything is so interesting. That's why it's one of my favorites. Because while it's not a particularly fun one to watch because of how gruesome it is and how terrible the people are, it's just a great story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's bad traveling.
Yeah, that is bad traveling for sure. I don't want to do that. So one of the ones I watched was In Vaulted Halls Entombed. And that one is season 3, episode 8. And like Sydney said, I knew nothing about these. She just gave me some and I looked up scary ones and this was one that came up and that's one that she suggested. So it's about these soldiers and apparently it's in the mountains of Afghanistan. I don't know if I missed that watching it, but this is what the synopsis told me after I watched it. And I was like, really? That's where they were? Okay. So they see they're like looking for a hostage is what I gathered from it all. And they go down into this basically tomb that they see insurgents, you hear me say that, but who knows, go into. So they follow him down, and they it gets bad right away. It gets so bad right away. So they get in there, and literally the enemy soldiers that they just encountered and just saw entering this area are laying there dead, but not just dead. All of their skin and meat, nothing's left but bones.
Their meat. I can't believe
meat. Well, what do I say? Their muscles, everything's gone. There's nothing but skeletons. And they're literally the people they just saw go in there. And they know this and they say this. So what do they decide to do? Well, they're going to go in and still look for this hostage and whatever kind of artifact that apparently this hostage has with them, they're going to find. So they head into the... Oh, I don't like this. So they head down this... I don't know.
Okay, I do want to... Okay, I just want to interrupt. You hate this, okay? I gave you a list of like 8 episodes to choose from.
Yeah, but they said this one was really scary. And then they said it was based off a Lovecraftian story.
Yeah.
So I kind of have leaned that way. I did watch another one that I won't talk about tonight first before I watched this one. And that one was cool, but it wasn't nothing like this one. Oh my God. So they head down this cave tunnel, and they're going through it, and all of a sudden, after they find these dead bodies that had been completely consumed by whatever had tore their bodies apart, these bugs start crawling at them. Bugs. They call them bugs. Well, the one calls them cockroaches with faces. So these things that look like spiders, metal spiders, they're just creepy, alien-looking, tiny little bugs come crawling at them. And I'm not talking 1 or 2. I'm talking the entire...
She's like dying from heebie-jeebies right now.
The entire cave is filled with them. And they're coming at them. And literally, I was dumbfounded. They're shooting at them with their guns. Like, that's going to kill them. Like, that's going to get rid of them. Like, that's going to stop anything.
I know. That pissed me off, too.
And, of course, they lose people. So they lose a soldier. And literally, oh, God. I can't even remember because there's so much gore in this. Was this the one where he tried to get away and he's walking and his leg
No,
literally...
that was later. That was later.
So that's the next guy.
There's like 4 of them total.
Yeah. So yeah, he falls down and he's being eaten by these bugs, and the one soldier shoots him. Like the commander shoots him.
It's a mercy killing.
It is a mercy killing because there's no. He's dying. These things have like their legs are like spears, so it spears the guy in the eyeball. It's so. You're losing. Look. It's just hanging there.
You're so ADD right now.
I am very ADD. I had coffee way late in the day.
Stop avoiding talking about it.
I hate you. I literally flipped her off this morning at work when I was like, I watched this one. So they shoot the soldier and they keep going. They're not going to go back because...
Well, to be fair.
The tunnels are filled with the bugs.
Yeah, like where are they going to go?
So they turn around and they're looking... And they see this big statue with its arms spread open, facing the opposite way from them. So it's like a big, huge shrine. And so they're like, well, it must be down there. And then they see some other people running, and they shoot them, which I don't understand.
Which was pretty fucking rude.
It was.
Even if it was insurgents, like they're... Listen, I've never been in this situation, so I can't say. But like, it didn't look like they were armed.
Yeah, no, and even Harper, she was the medic. She looked at him and was like, why? And he just shook his head and he's like, we got to get that artifact. We got to get him. We got to do that. Whatever. So then they decide, they see what they think is light on the other side of this big, huge shrine. But to get down, like the steps are like a mile long.
They're very huge.
They have to literally...
They're not meant for humans.
No, they're not. So they're like... crawling down and letting go and dropping like 8 feet. Each step they have to like hang from the top, and then they're still dropping 8 feet down. So, they're like 15, 20 feet high each step. So they are going down there and they get almost to the bottom, and guess what? Now we have giant turd bugs. Like the ones that were small and big attacking them and eating their faces off. Literally, like I tell you, spiders do all the freaking time. Proof! I have proof now. These ones are like 4 times the size or more. They start attacking, and this is where this. So, so it attacks the other soldier guy. I don't know their names. I don't know. I was traumatized. I just know Harper. So anyway, they get attacked, and he gets attacked, and he comes stumbling out, and his leg, because it's eating him, his leg just breaks off. It just breaks off at the knee. Yeah, this is so bad. So yeah, he dies. He's dead.
He he stumbles to a stop because his leg breaks and he just explodes into a big thing
like Harper goes to run towards him, and there's no helping. There was
no medical.
He's just gone. They literally eat everything off of the bodies, everything.
Yeah.
So then they turn around and they're trying to get out, and they're going, and they start hearing this rumbling and this noise, and
the chains are moving.
Chains, like big giant chains. We're talking, like King Kong chains.
Yeah, like giant, like the kind of giant chains they have for anchors of huge ships and stuff.
Yeah. So they're hearing these chains. They're hearing this like moaning weird sound, and then the commander just starts taking off towards it. Now Harper's like, no. Let's not go that way.
Yeah, there's like a tunnel that has light.
Yes.
She suspects that that's where the exit is.
Yes. But no, he starts walking into the dark pit because that's where mind control. It's mind control. So she's trying to stop him. He keeps walking. They end up in this dark area where the big chains are moving, and they look up, and it's this grotesque, gigantic, huge monster. Gigantic, huge, creepy. I can't even explain what it looks like. It's
if you've ever seen a traditional artwork done of Cthulhu, that's what it is.
Yeah. I guess it would be.
It is. Yeah, basically.
So, okay. Mm-hmm. So there it is. And it's mind controlling the commander.
To release him.
Release him. It's literally saying, release me. Release me. And then their heads start to get like, when you see in the movies where it's like, and their heads are going to explode, and the things are trying to mind control them, so their head is hurting, and that's happening to both Harper and the commander. Well...
But the commander's affected worse.
The commander is affected worse. So he decides that he's going to try to release the giant, huge monster. And Harper's screaming at him, stop, because she's not really controlled at this point. She broke free.
It focused on him first, for whatever reason.
Yes.
Probably because, evidently, he was
weaker.
Yes, exactly.
There's just no way around it.
Shit-eating grin on her face.
He was a weakling. But anyways, so she ends up having to shoot him because he's really going to set this thing free.
Yeah, he pulls a grenade from his belt. And, the thing is it was going to kill them as well.
Yeah, it just wanted to be free and then kill them and then go about its business and go kill everybody else.
Well, I meant the grenade. He
was going to set the grenade off, break the monster free, and then they'd be dead and the monster would be having his way.
But, Harper was mostly trying to prevent him from using the fucking grenade. Obviously she didn't want the thing to be released, but it was also self-preservation, too, because what happens when you set off a grenade,
Things blow up.
In your hand.
Boom. Anyway. So then she's the only one left. She's the only one left alone with the big, giant, freaking, ugly ass monster.
And it uses its deadlights on her, man.
It does. It's staring at her, and it has a bunch of weird looking deadlight eyes, like they're red and glowy, and you see a scene it shows her staring up at it, and her eyes are glowing, and then the next thing you know, you hear mumbling, like this weird ancient language mumbling, and it's Harper walking outside, and she's saying this over and over and over again, whatever it was. And then it pans to her, and she had cut her eyeballs out and cut her ears off, totally mutilated herself to try and prevent this thing from controlling her. But it didn't work.
It didn't work. Yeah. It's important to note, too, that the landscape that she was stumbling around on was not the Earth as we know it.
No. So, yeah, it was creepy, and the monsters in it were gross, and the bugs were grosser. But the reason they said they were cockroaches with faces is because the guy caught one, had it in his hand, pulled it off of him, and looked at it, and its belly, it looked like it was its belly. It opened up, and it was a face, and it just screamed at him. So, yeah, she's like, we're being attacked by cockroaches with faces. It's gross. I didn't like it because I don't like spiders, and those things all look like spiders. I don't care what Sydney said. They look like spiders. And there were thousands of them. Mm. And they literally ate every ounce of skin. They only left bones. Just bones. It's gross.
Only the bones were left.
And within seconds, just gone. It was gross.
Not fast enough for you to not to feel anything, though.
No, I'm sure. Screaming the whole time as you're being...
Yeah, that's they wouldn't even need to shoot me. I'd shoot me first. It's so messed up, dude.
No, it's a really messed up episode. It's really gory. But they had a lot of great voice actors. The animation was amazing in this one, I think. No, it was creepy and gross.
I remember when I first watched this episode, when I first you first saw people, I didn't even cop to the fact that it was animation at first. That's how good it was.
No, when it first came on, I wasn't sure either, because the other two I had watched were definitely animation.
Yeah.
And so then I saw this one, I was like, oh. And then I realized it was, but it was really good. No, yeah. It was creepy and I didn't like it. No. Not at all. The other one creeped me out too, but not like this one.
All right, so the next one I wanted to talk about was my favorite. This is my favorite episode of all time. It's called Beyond the Aquila Rift. This is from season 1, episode 7. And it is about a spaceship crew. And they're making their way somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. But they wake up and they discover that they traveled in the complete wrong direction. So when they went through the wormhole, something fucked up, their navigation or something, and they wake up out of their cryo sleep because they've been boarded, and it's this old flame from the captain's past. And she's like, yeah, you're not in Kansas anymore. You're all the way out past the Aquila Rift. And that is literally hundreds of thousands of light years away from where they were supposed to be. She's like, even if you could, she doesn't reveal this right away, but she says, even if you could make it home, it's hundreds of years have passed on Earth. So
that's horrible.
Yeah, so it's very...
That would be my horrible fear if for some reason we had to leave Earth and go to another planet to live or whatever, that would happen. They would put you in cryo sleep and you would just not be where you were supposed to. Not good.
Yeah, how many movies about space travel have things like that happen, right?
Yeah.
So,
mm-hmm. Yep.
So one of the crew members, so he wakes up, his cryo sleep stops for whatever reason, and he goes to wake up his crew, and he wakes up this one lady first. She's the one that's in charge of navigation, and he's like, yeah, things are fucked. And she freaks out immediately, which is valid and fair. She's like, no, this doesn't make any sense. My calculations were perfect. There's no way we could be all the way out here. I could see it, I could see us being off course, but not by this month. And so she immediately distrusts the captain's old flame that's there. She's like, she's not who she says she is. Like, she's lying. Like, this is fucked. And she's so upset that they actually sedate her and put her back under because she's sick too because, you know, her cryosleep was interrupted in a way it shouldn't have been. And so she's suffering the effects of that as well. So he and the old flame, they go and they hang out, and, you know, she kind of says what she's been up to, and he says what he's been up to, and they reconnect and they have sex and stuff, and that's, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's the boring part of the episode. So he's laying in bed afterwards, and he's like, you know, I think something is up. Like, I don't think you're being entirely honest with me. And she's like, she doesn't want to admit to it right away. She's like, you're right. Like, you like, I don't want to tell you though, because you're gonna.
Because I haven't watched it?
You're gonna, no.
Oh.
She's saying, you know, I don't think you can handle the truth. And he's like, you know, that's bullshit. Like, I can take it. You know, this is, you know, my livelihood at stake. You know, my crew's here. You know, we need to know what's really going on. And he actually, like, attacks her. And he's, like, shoving her up against the window and stuff. And, oh, man. I almost kind of don't want to tell you because the reveal of this is fucking insane. Okay, this is one of the biggest plot twists that have ever happened. I swear to God.
Oh boy.
So the images around him start flickering. It's like what he's seeing isn't what's real. Okay, and it's starting to reveal itself. So he slams her against the window of the spaceship, and everything fractures, and it's like this weird wasteland sort of thing. I mean, it's still obvious that they're in space, but there's like these organic matter growing in spines and columns, and there's webs everywhere. This is what okay, I just realized you're not gonna like this, actually. Okay.
Because apparently there's webs. We know what that frickin' leads to. Oh.
I didn't even think about this.
Traumatizing me.
Okay, to be fair, you would have hated this worse. I think. Genuinely.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming now. Yes. Because it's probably real spiders, not spider-looking creatures.
Well.
Oh, no, they're outer space spiders.
They are outer space.
Oh, man, that's worse. Alien spiders?
Wait.
Why?
Okay. Just wait. Okay. So
I'm being patient.
He hears the voice of his old flame, and he realizes that it's actually not even her. And the camera pans out and you look at him, and he's like older. He has this beard. He looks very skinny. Like he looks really, really rough. And he passes by the other cryogenic tanks, and his crew is dead. Like, the tanks are broken, and they're just desiccated corpses. Like, mummified, like they're old and dry and all this stuff. And he hears the voice again, and he turns, and it looks at first like it's the woman walking towards him, but it transforms into this giant spider monster that is extremely grotesque. It's disgusting.
Nice. Yeah.
But it's talking to him like telepathically. And it says to him, I really do care about you, and I really am trying to keep you safe, but I take care of everyone that ends up here. And the camera pans out more, and you see that it's this giant colony type thing and there's a bunch of lost ships there, crashed ships. And she said, the thing says, I take care of everybody that lands here, that crashes here. And he freaks the fuck out, like he can't handle it, obviously.
Well, yeah.
And so something happens. He like passes out, and he wakes up again from his sleep, and it starts over.
Oh, that's horrible.
Like,
I guess he doesn't know that it's horrible, but...
He is actively dying, though, because there's no way for this thing to feed him or anything. So it's kind of trying to keep him in this fantasy land until he dies, essentially.
Well, that's very kind of this grotesque spider thing.
It is! And that's why I'm obsessed with this episode, because it's so fucked, okay? But it's like this weird, unknowable creature that is genuinely trying to ease his passing, essentially. I mean, he's gonna die of starvation eventually, you know? But while he's there, it kind of creates this weird fantasy of him connecting with an old flame, and I can't completely lie about the direness of the situation, because it wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's always gonna upset him, but it keeps, like, wiping his memory so that it can keep him happy for as long as possible.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
I want to show you the picture of the thing.
Oh, here we go. The thing that nightmares are made out of. Oh, no, dude. That is super creepy.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It even has, like, look at this one.
Oh, no. What? No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it starts off like so normal. It's like, okay, so they ended up where they weren't supposed to be, but they're still kind of on this, distant waypoint, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he reconnects with someone he hasn't seen, but it was never her. It was all just fake. And so I wonder, too, like, if that crew member before she died, had actually seen what it actually was for whatever reason. The juju didn't work on her, and so she really was seeing what it really was, and kind of messed it up a little bit, planted the initial distrust in him, So that's what I'm saying, though. It was the craziest, most fucked up plot twist. Like,
that is,
and it's super tragic, and it's just super good. Excellent. It doesn't, and it sucks. This is why I didn't want to tell you, because it really takes the punch out of the reveal.
Well, yeah.
If you rewatch it, like, it's still good, but it's not as good as that first time. Yeah. Because it's literally crazy. Like, there's no way of guessing that that's the direction it's gonna take.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's really good, and that's why that one's my favorite. I kind of have a new favorite in the newest season, but we'll maybe talk about that some other day.
Okay. So the second one I watched was Tall Grass, and that one it was season 2, episode 5, and I think they said it was 14 minutes, but it's such a quick story, it's really not 14 minutes, doesn't seem like it. So it's literally this old locomotive traveling through the prairie, tall grass on each side of the train, and all of a sudden the train just kind of comes to a stop. Just stop. And one of the passengers decides to go find the conductor and ask him what's going on. And he's like, oh, we just have to, rebuild the fire. This happens sometimes. We need to get more steam going. And he's like, oh, okay, well, how long will we be here? He goes, not long. And he said, well, long enough for me to have a smoke then? And he said, yes, but don't wander off. He's like, oh, okay. Kind of laughs at the guy, and the conductor gets back on the train and is doing his thing. And so this guy's standing out there, and he's kind of like a nerdy looking guy. He's got glasses, real thin. He starts smoking his cigarette, and he sees little flashes of light in the grass. Now, the grass is taller than he is, You're in the middle of the prairie. And he's seeing these little lights flashing out in the fields there. So what does he do? Of course, what does he do? He just wanders into the freaking grass. Don't wander into the grass, people. If grass is taller than you are and you cannot see where you're coming from, you cannot get back to where you just left. So don't do it. It's stupid. And that's how you die. So, anyway, he heads into the grass chasing these little lights. But he's really not walking that far. It doesn't seem like he is.
No.
He's seeing these lights move through the grass, and he's kind of like, he's like giggling about it because, it just seems like almost like fireflies. It's just little flashes of white light through the grass. And then he realizes he's kind of far from the train. And so he turns around and he's going to go back and he sees some more flashes of light. And then he hears a growling noise. And he's like, oh, I need to go. So he turns around and he's trying to, find his way back. And he stumbles to where the growling noise is headed towards him. And he sees these creatures basically crawling out of the ground. And they are white humanoid kind of things.
They're creepy.
Yeah, they're super white. They're just chalky white.
Unearthly.
Been buried in the ground for 7,500 years, white. Not a single vitamin D in their bodies at all. And so they've got like their vertebrae sticking out. They're the creepy monsters. And then it turns towards him, and guess what? It don't have a freaking face. It's just completely featureless. And that's scary. It's always scary when things don't have faces, right? That's always scary. And he's like, oh my God. I need to get back to the train. So he turns around and tries to find the train and no. You wander into the grass. That's how you die. So he starts running, trying to find, and these things are coming out of everywhere now. They're everywhere. They're coming after him. They open their mouths, and they're full of razor-sharp rows of teeth.
Well, their faces kind of rip open to reveal mouths.
Yeah.
Like, it's because they didn't have faces before. It's
no
not,
face at all.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
They have a mouth that's nothing but razor teeth. And so he falls into this hole. Of course he does. And I think he thinks he's safe at this point, which is so silly. And so he's trying to get out of this hole, and the ground breaks open underneath him. And there's a bunch more of these things. And so he's scrambling, trying to get up. He's pulling himself on the ledge. They're grabbing his legs and pulling him back.
Isn't he climbing over a bunch of bones?
Yeah. I think
so it's like it's.
There's a lot going on right there. Just big creatures chasing me, so I get anxious. Bones, I'm not sure I noticed, but maybe could be. They're probably in the pit. Why wouldn't they be?
The pit of bones.
He gets up. I don't know how. He kicks them and he gets away and he goes running, and he's looking for the train and dummy, can't find it. So then he hears the conductor, all aboard. And he's like, ugh.
Yeah, the conductor said that he would only call for him twice.
And then they were leaving.
Yeah.
So he knows he has to be on that train. So he can hear him. So he goes running towards the sound. And then he's like, I'm not seeing the train. Where's the train? I'm not seeing the train. He thinks he's going the right direction. Well, then he hears the conductor again. And it's in the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. You know how that is when I got lost in the woods when we were looking for my cousin that passed away. And people said they were honking horns and stuff. I would hear traffic, but the way we actually left the woods was not where I heard the traffic because of the acoustics of the woods and everything around you, and it was raining and scary. So he's running and he hears, all aboard, and he's screaming, and these things are chasing him. And he sees the train. He sees the lights from the train. Oh, my God, thank you. Whoo! Goes stumbling out of the grass, and these things are coming at him. And all of a sudden, the conductor is there with a torch. And he's swinging it at the things, and they're afraid of fire. You can tell immediately. They're, like, backing off and growling and hissing and wanting to get this guy and trying to pull him back. But the conductor keeps going at him till he gets the guy up. And the train takes off.
Yeah.
And so they go running after the train, and they safely got on the train. Now, the guy sits down on the back of the train next to the conductor. And the conductor's standing, just staring off basically where they came from. I would not have stayed on the outside of that train. You couldn't have paid me enough to be on the outside of that train. I would not believe that they wouldn't come after me.
I don't even think I feel safe in my room.
No,
Especially because, you know, he learns, obviously, that they're the source of the lights, and the whole time
they were just luring him in. It was like their little, look at us, here wait,
their little anglerfish.
Come and find us. Yeah, even their mouths look like anglerfish. Yeah, creepy. Ooh, no. So he's sitting on the back of the train. The conductor guy's talking to him. He's like, what was that? What are those things? And he said, not really sure, but I think they may have been human at one time or another. Maybe they got lost wandering in the grass and never found their way back. This happens every now and then. The train just stops, loses steam, the same place every time. He said, this has happened. He's like, you mean people have gone out there and never come back? He's like, yep. And he goes, I think it's like a doorway to another world, like another dimension. And just stands there staring off in space. And the guy that was running from these terrible things, he's like, oh. He goes, well, if I were you, I wouldn't tell anybody. They wouldn't believe you anyways. He walks into the train. And there you go.
Conductor's a son of a bitch.
He was like, I do know that they don't like fire. Okay. I'm like,
listen, it's not the conductor's job.
No, and he told that guy not to wander away.
He did.
He literally said, do not go wandering.
He didn't have to risk his own dick.
So this brings me a question. If you saw something flashing in the grass, would you go look?
See, I know I wouldn't, and here's why. Because one time, when me and my friend were driving up to the UP, the GPS told us to go down this fucking one-track road.
You've told me this story.
Even though there was literally like, we were on the highway, and it was telling us to get off the highway on this overgrown fucking path. And the GPS is like, nope, you got to keep going that way. You got to keep going straight down that 2-track. And I looked at my friend, and she's like, well, the GPS is telling us to go that way. I'm like, fuck no. This is, like, there's no way. Like, I can tell. There's no place to turn around. It can redirect our asses. So I turned left and stayed on the road. The fucking road.
That's what I would have done, too. I would not have done that.
And guess what? It redirected us, and it was fine.
Yeah. 2 years ago when Belinda and I went on our girls' trip, we stayed in an Airbnb that was, we knew it was in the woods, right? We knew it was on a small river or creek or whatever. I don't know what it was. We knew that's where we were staying. We met there because she lives way down south in Michigan. And so I had to go 2.5 hours, 3 hours to meet her, and she had to drive 4 hours. So I'm taking the GPS and I'm driving and I'm going down dirt roads. We're over by Traverse City, Michigan. We're dirt roads, and then it turns into a 2-track. And I must have drove on that 2-track. I'm not even kidding you, for probably 3 miles back in the woods. Oh. And I'm like, nope, she's getting us killed. We are going to die. And she was there waiting for me, which still even, I will never do that again. We ended up, the one we stayed in, their garage opened right into the Airbnb. There was no private door to the Airbnb. Just a stairway up from their garage. Nope. I'm like, they're going to come in here and kill us. We both stayed in our bedrooms and locked the doors and put chairs in front of the doors.
There's no fucking
I'm like, this was so stupid. Why are we here? I'm glad that wasn't a weekend where we spent more than one night. It was one night and we were out. We were out. Yeah, neither one of us slept because we were so paranoid. It was not a good experience. But yeah, no, I was ready to turn around. I'm like, this is not where there's an Airbnb. They kill people back here. I bet they do. I'm not even kidding. How would anyone know? Great reviews. Yeah, sure.
It's because all the people that would leave bad reviews are dead.
Yeah, right? They went floating down the river.
You know, this is interesting to me because there's so many, like, there's another horror movie, like a full-length movie based on a book by Joe Hill, one of Stephen King's sons, that they made into a Netflix movie called In the Tall Grass. And it's about these people that go into this tall grass and, like, they lose track of where they were and they get lost.
I watched that movie twice.
Yeah, so, like, what is up with the tall grass?
Again, don't go in the tall grass.
I know I wouldn't.
Because you will die.
Yeah, you will literally die.
That one I've watched twice and it pisses me off every time. And I don't know why I insist on watching it. It creeps me out.
It is good.
It is a creepy movie. I can remember being a little girl and having, like, wheat fields. And back then the wheat grew tall. It wasn't dwarfed because, you know, we didn't mess with the genetics of our plants that we feed our children. Mm-hmm. At least not until the 70s when they started doing it. But anyways... I can remember running through the grass, the wheat that was taller than me. Now, I'm not walking into anything that's taller than me. I'm 5'5", and if something's taller than me, and it's a grass-like thing, and I could get lost in there, I don't even do corn mazes because they freak me out. Too many scary stories about corn mazes, too.
Yeah. No, there's something about, like, because there's multiple pieces of media where it's, like, the susurrus of those things is starting to bother me. Like, I'm starting to get, like, the connotation that it's, like, a horror thing because, like, obviously you got the corn. Corn is scary.
I grew up in cornfields, too.
Like, it is scary. If you live in somewhere rural, chances are you've been in a cornfield, you've gotten lost in a cornfield, you've been in a corn maze, like, whatever. It's scary.
You're going to get that song stuck in my head.
What song? Never mind. Don't play it. I don't want to know it because it'll get stuck in my head.
I'm going to play it for you.
Fuck. And then, obviously this with the tall grass and the susurrus that makes. If you don't know what susurrus is, it's the noise that things that are close together make. So corn makes it, tall grass is going to make it, willow trees make it, which is another thing that creeped me out.
I
love
willow trees, though. But, yeah, they make
I have
sounds.
A horror novel for you to read, and you won't love them anymore. They'll creep you the fuck out.
I love that.
We actually need to talk about that book because it's one of my faves. And it's based on a short story by Algernon Blackwood called The Willows. I'm changed. I'm a changed person.
I know.
R.I.P. Akbar. No, I know Julian Smith because of the Malk video.
Yes.
Sorry, Dad, my white friends. And the hot Kool-Aid, too, is a good one.
I don't know if I've seen the hot Kool-Aid one, but yeah,
That's from the deep recesses of the internet. Good Lord. Anyway, things that are close together make. So corn makes it, tall grass is going to make it, willow trees make it, which is another thing that creeped me out.
I love willow trees, though. But yeah, they make
I have
sounds.
A horror novel for you to read, and you won't love them anymore. They'll creep you the fuck out.
I love that.
We actually need to talk about that book because it's one of my faves. And it's based on a short story by Algernon Blackwood called The Willows.
Anyway.
So yeah, that was the Love, Death, and Robots episodes that we watched. We'll do another episode on these. We'll talk about different episodes. Because there are still several that I would love to talk about. Jabaro being one, and Zeke finds religion. That's, like, almost my new favorite.
I started watching it last night, but I fell asleep because it was late.
You fell asleep?
Well, it was 11 o'clock when I started watching these, so...
You're wild.
Yeah. I'm not old like you.
So, when you guys listen to this episode, we will be going to...
The Curious at Crossroads Festival.
The Oddities Festival,
yes. Curious at Crossroads Oddities Festival.
Yes. Where we are speakers...
We are the first speakers of the entire festival.
Yep, noon on Saturday. And it's in Flint. So if you are listening to this and you will be in the area, you should come and watch us present.
Yes.
We're pretty excited. We're pretty nervous.
I'm a little nervous.
It'll be fine. We'll do great.
I mean, they did a little write-up about us, talking about the speakers that are going to be there, and I was like, oh, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know why I felt that was pressure, but hold on, I'll read it to you. It says, at noon, the Beck's podcast. Join host Rebecca, Becky Snow, and Sydney Rebecca as they dive into the world of multimedia horror. The Beck's podcast blends film, books, games, and folklore into deep, eerie discussions you won't want to miss. Deep? Are we deep? I was pretty impressed with us when I read that.
We're pretty deep.
We get into some...
We get deep.
We have a lot of tangents we talk about. There you go. Akbar. I don't know.
That we have to edit out the...
have to edit out?
The
look
context
up,
to Akbar.
Look up. I went in a cornfield today. I don't know if that's the name of it. Hold on.
I think it's called Akbar.
Is it called Akbar? Look up Akbar.
By Julian Smith.
By Julian Smith on YouTube. And you will hate me for life, but it will be okay. And then you'll know the contents behind Akbar. And there you go.
So, yeah. We'll see you at the Oddities Fest or Frankenfest.
That's the following weekend, June 28th.
Yep, that is the following weekend. We're going to be talking about Frankenstein. A la our episode on Frankenstein, but we're going to bring some fresh perspective into it because, that was our second episode, so it's been a little while.
50 episodes ago, because this is our 52nd episode.
Woo!
So that's 50 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Listen to it again. The quality's not great, but it's still an episode I think we're both super proud of. So
she always says the quality. The quality of us talking is amazing. Our content is amazing.
True.
She's right. But the quality of the recording...
That's what I meant.
Not good.
Not as good.
I know what you meant, I'm just letting them know.
We were
the
learning.
content was really good, but the recording, our sound was much, much worse.
Do you know, we said this was going to be short and sweet, and we're at an hour.
God dang it.
Okay, so... Today the pod, tomorrow the world. My name is Sydney Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Snow.
And we're the Becks.